So again, yeah, we are starting the project. 5-page website, should be unique, different from everybody else's. Make it as unique as possible by choosing a unique topic, developing it in a unique way, if you like. But there shouldn't be that I look at yours and it looks kind of like somebody else's. Use your own colors, whatever. Now, the way that this project works is it has a number of phases, and they're called deliveries with numbers applied to them. So there's delivery 1, which is due this weekend. Now, it's delivery 1's not big. It's just a Word document, which is just going to be a page, 5 paragraphs on what your 5 pages are going to be in the website that you're making. Basically, it's just like a letter. It's just like a document of intent. What do I intend to do on this project? So that's your first delivery, and that's due at the end of this weekend. Then you have 2 weeks later, you have to give the text that you're going to have on each of those 5 pages, the words. And so the first 2 deliveries can be achieved just using a Word document. Actually, the third delivery also could be delivered with a Word document, but you would have to you guys talking to me? I can't really tell, so I'm just going to mute you, and you can unmute yourself, but just so we don't have accidental talking. If you want to talk, you'll have to unmute yourself, but you can do that. It's not that I'm stopping you. So delivery 3, that's going to be due 2 weeks later. So that's 4 weeks from now. And you're going to have to hand in some drawings, basically. You could probably do this using Microsoft Visio or some other drawing package. And what you see there is 2 images. If you only had, you might have different pages look in a different way, but the word we use here is a wireframe, and a wireframe just basically says, if you had a page, this is how things would be laid out. And so maybe you're going to have 6 cells in a page, maybe. And notice that we've got 2 different wireframes, one for the desktop and one for how it's going to look like on a mobile phone. And so that's due in October. So far, you've got 4 weeks into the project by that point, and I still haven't asked you to do any HTML yet. So far, this is just all ideas that you are communicating to me using a Word document or something like that. Then you start getting into your images. So by now, you should have planned very carefully all the things that are going to be in your website. You've already given me your words that are going to be on each of the pages. Then you need to do a collection of images, and your images should be different than anybody else's images. You actually have to have a bunch of JPEGs or PNGs, and then you need to have this thing called a contact sheet, and Google that and have a look at what people mean by a contact sheet. But basically, it'll be like a whole lot of thumbnails together on one page, so that by looking at one page, I can see all of the work that all of the images that you're going to be doing. Then it's not until the end of October that you're going to deliver to me a website with working HTML. And that's just going to be flat HTML. You won't have to have the CSS working on it yet. You got another 2 weeks after that to get the CSS working for the desktop. And then you've got another week after that to get the CSS working for the mobile phone. Now, what you haven't learned yet, and this, you see, this is a long time into the future, right? We're talking like 2 months from now.
Yeah, Zuzu, yeah.
Are you asking me a question? Right. There's nothing in the chat, but I just heard somebody call out Zuzu here, but I didn't know what that was all about. So that may be a mistaken sort of thing. So I'm just going to go back and mute again. If you want to talk, you'll have to unmute yourselves. Now, the CSS for mobiles is going to be different than the CSS for the desktop, and we'll teach you how to do that long before the due date in November. Basically, we have this special command in HTML, which is called @media. With the @media command, when the browser loads the HTML, it's able to sense what is the window size, and if you got a small window size, then you can run a different bunch of CSS. And that's basically how we do it. We determine what is the window size, and if it's small, we go and run the mobile CSS, and if it's big, we run the desktop CSS. And so we can have different looking. You could even have different colors, totally different looking website, depending on if you're looking at it from a mobile phone or from a desktop. We'll show you how to do that. And then lastly, at the end, you're going to put a form. And again, toward the end of this course, we'll teach you how to make forms. Actually, I think you might have learned in CP1000. So there's really not a lot here that we haven't learned. We haven't learned the @media. That's going to be new. But we saw a form in CP1000. We're going to do it again, actually have a working form. So that means we'll probably have to do a little bit of PHP. And if you want, we can do a bit of SQL. We did that before. So that's the project. You see that the final delivery is due at the end of November, but we're doing it in stages. And the first stage is a very soft entry, which is just you sit down and come up with an idea. This is what I would like to do for a website for my project. These are the 5 pages that I would like to have. This is how it is. And the hard work for you is really in imagining creatively something which is unique, which is different than everybody else's website. And probably the best way to go about that is to sort of tap into your own personality, I suppose, because luckily for us, we do have unique personalities. And so there's things that are about you that are not about everybody else. And I think that's kind of where you want to sort of go with your website. So just to give you an idea of that, and I don't mean really deep personal stuff. I'm not getting Freudian here. But what I mean is, for example, if I was going to do a website, I would probably do something about KTM motorcycles or something like that, right? Something that I know a little bit about and that I'm really interested in, and I doubt that other people in the class here are as interested in it as I am. And so therefore, I'd be pretty sure to have a fairly unique website. Does that make sense? And I'm sure it's kind of similar for you. You have things like that, that there's something, maybe you're into horses, or maybe you're into cats, or maybe you're into something, right? I mean, we're not all into Roblox and Minecraft, I don't think, right? You sort of grown out of that, right? Anyway, so, but you might be, and that's okay. I mean, that's what my kids do, but they're a bit younger than you guys. So that's the project. Now, in order to do the project, it's going to have to be a real website. And so how are we going to know a real website? Well, we got to publish it on a web server. Now, you can run a web server on your laptop. I've got a web server running on this laptop. And so I have this, I installed it. It's here somewhere. There it is, WAMP server. I can run WAMP server and put a website in there and edit the HTML and CSS in it and load it up and access SQL from it. That's download. That was free, and I got it. Now there's actually an icon above that on the screen, which is FileZilla client. This is one thing that you do have to. You need to download that now. About now, I suppose. Just do a Google on it, FileZilla, download it, and when you run it, it's going to give you something like this. Now, we're lucky because we actually have a web server here at the college. And so we can use FileZilla to access accounts on that website. So the website that we've got, the web server, sorry, websites are the things that we build. The web server that we've got is called the SIT. SIT stands for School of Information Technology, if you're wondering, at the cnaQatar.edu.qa. So then you have a username. For you, you will put your 600 number. All right. For me, I will put Mark. And for me, I will put my password. For you, I've given you a password. And if you look at the notes, you will see the password that I've given you. And to make this work, we have to use port 2222. If I just hit enter, and if I've typed everything correctly, it will get me into, yes, there we are. Now I'm connected. And so when I'm connected, I have two windows here which are kind of important. These windows below are just looking at the particular folders that I have highlighted. So here okay, I'm in the looking in the desktop. I am looking at the downloads folder. This is the stuff in the downloads folder on my local. This is the local computer. So on my local computer, if I built myself a website, I can load that website up into my area of the on the SIT web server. So everything that happens, every good thing that happens is going to happen under a folder called public_HTML. When you log in, you will see public_HTML. What you have to do is get the stuff from your computer up there. I might try and demonstrate that now. Now, I haven't done this for quite a few months, so I'm just hoping this will work. I think from the desktop, I can see my, oh, I hope I can. I'm not sure that I can, but I want to see my, I got OneDrive there. Yeah, all my stuff I put into Dropbox. I see Dropbox there. Ha, hooray. So if I open up my Dropbox, come on, Dropbox. So not surprised that Dropbox doesn't really want to open because we're sort of mingling technologies here. So you know what? That sort of halted things. Yeah, did that open? Yeah, it
Yes,
did.
sir.
It opened. Look at that. So I got to go here to my work. And then from my work, I'm going to, all right, so academic, yeah, all right. So in this course, we did a while ago, we did a lab on this CO3 site. So that would probably be a good thing to upload, right? So yeah, there it is. So remember this, it's got all this stuff in it. So if I take that and I want to load that onto that. So if I've got this highlighted and then I go here, I think if I just double click, not going to work. So I need to, so that's refresh. I need to transfer that over. Come on. So I haven't done this for a while, so I can't even remember. So upload. Yeah, I did a right click and upload. That'll do it. So before I did the upload, I'm highlighting the target. Where do I want it to go? Now I'm going to upload. Da-dum, da-dum. And if it worked or if it didn't. It said it did work, but how will we know? We'll have to go and look in here in public. And there it is. There's my site has now been uploaded onto the server. Now, how can I know if it's worked? What I do is I'll open my browser. So I got my browser here, and I can check my part of the SIT web server by SIT web server like that. If you just do that, SIT, CNA, blah, blah, that will take you to the web server. But you know, that's just generic. Anybody can do that. But then if you put a slash like, oh, sorry, I had it highlighted. That was bad. So come on, get out of the highlight. There we go. If I put a slash like that and then a tilde is this special character there, which is found by holding the shift key and the key that's next to my number 1 in my numeric keyboard at the top of the keyboard. There's a tilde, which is this strange shape there. And then you put your username. For my username is Mark, but your username will start with a 6. And then if you've done that, what will happen is it actually transfers you to we're now looking at my part of the website. And there's the thing that I've just uploaded, CO3, my site. You're probably not convinced by that but look here, you'll see the time and the date when it was uploaded. It was uploaded on the 23rd of the 9th at 3:48. That's now. So now look what happens. When I just click on that folder, did I ever click on index.html? No, I did not. Did not click on I didn't need to. This is the way things work on the internet. This is the internet now, right? We're doing this through the internet. I could be sitting at my home doing this. I could be sitting in Malaysia doing this. All right. It doesn't matter where you are, because this is not me running this off my laptop. This is going through the cloud back to the server, which just happens to be in the same building, but this is working through the internet. And there's my website, and those links are working the same as they were on my Dropbox. But I'm now looking at my website, which I have published. I have published this website to the internet. Now, you probably raises a bunch of questions like, oh, so I can just go onto the web server and download stuff and upload stuff. Well, you do notice, I hope, that there is a log on, right? So when you log in, you are given access to your area of the web server. You don't have access to anybody else's. You won't have access to Mark on there unless you are the server manager, all right? And that's not you, and you don't have those credentials. That's Robert Ford. He's managing the server, so he is the administrator of the server. That's the correct word. I shouldn't use manager. And he will be able to clear out the server, copy anything that's on there, delete stuff. But the rest of us have control over our own area. And yeah, there we go. So I just uploaded this website. Now, what I would then do is I would go back to so here's the local site. Here's the remote site. The remote site is on the SIT server. The SIT server, we mentioned that in the host up here, right? You can see it up here at the top, SFTP, that the account is Mark on the SIT server, logging in with the port 2222. All right, so yeah, what I would do is I would go back to my local and do any editing that I want to do, and then anytime that I'm finished, shouldn't have closed that. Anytime when I'm finished the editing, I could come back here and refresh it, upload again. That's the type of thing that you need to do. Save the work and then upload again and then you could see the changes on the website. So you will need to be doing that with assignment 2. You need to upload your assignment 2 to the server, and definitely with the project. I'm going to stop. Just in review of what we were talking about, you do have a project. I was to introduce to you the project today. The project can be found on D2L, and you do have a delivery, which is to describe 5 pages of a unique website which you're going to develop. The other thing that I wanted you to look at, and maybe you can do this sometime today, is logging onto the SIT server. The instructions for that are also on D2L, and I gave you an example of it here. I'm not asking you to upload anything there yet, but when you do start uploading things to the SIT server, make sure that you're always setting the target as public HTML. Why? Because the public doesn't have access to these other directories. They won't be able to see any of that other
Sir,
and so
this public This public HTML will be there. We will not put it.
It should be there. If it's not there, we have to put it.
Without
But,
making a folder, it will
yeah,
be there.
if it isn't there, your website won't work. Now, I was trying to explain why that won't work. It won't work unless there's a public.html folder because the other folders there are the permissions on them. They're hidden so that nobody but you can use them. Now, the public HTML folder, other people have read access only. They don't have any write access. So they can't do anything with it. They can't even copy anything from it, I don't think. But they're able to see the pages there and look at your website. I haven't looked at the permissions, but I believe that's what it is. Did I answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. So yeah, there does, just to make sure, there does have to be a public_HTML folder. If it isn't there, we can add it. But yeah, we can't do anything unless it's there. Okay. Any other questions like that?